Liebe Zuschauer, herzlich willkommen bei Bewusst TV. Wir sprechen jetzt im Weiteren Englisch und es wird übersetzt und als Voice-Over drüber gelegt. Sie können aber auch die englische Originalunterhaltung unter einem anderen Link verfolgen. Ich habe nämlich heute eingeladen Giuliana Conforto, italienische Astrophysikerin und sehr bekannt in Italien und in England. Sie hat viele Bücher in Englisch und Italienisch publiziert und in Deutsch gibt es bisher nur eins von ihr und jetzt gerade neu das zweite. Giuliana, welcome at Bewusst TV. I'm happy to have you here.
I'm too.
Yeah. You published a new book, and the title of this book is in English Baby Sun Revelation, and the German title is Das Sonnenkind, die Geburt der inneren Sonne. What is about this Baby Sun Revelation? What is revealed there?
The Earth's inner sun. There is a small sun at the center of the Earth, and it is not visible, but has been tested and checked through seismic propagation waves, through seismas. And through seismic waves, they have recognized since the 1936. Mm-hmm. They recognize that the Earth has a crystalline core, and that is solid, and its solidity is in contrast with the huge pressure that should be there if all the physics were right.
So you say the core of the heart isn't iron and nickel and everything is different from what we are teaching?
Absolutely, because at the end of the last century, they discovered that the crystalline core is rotating faster than the Earth's surface where we are. Mm-hmm. So it is independent from the higher shells, and also they discovered that the core is made of 3 spheres, each inside one another, and the crystalline core has the same radius as Mercury, the planet Mercury, mm-hmm. whereas the outer liquid core is the same radius as Mars. Mm-hmm. And this core is independent from the above mantle, the Earth's mantle, that has the same radius as Venus, that is just a little bit smaller than the Earth's radius. The Earth's radius is what we actually know is just the Earth's crust, the Earth's biosphere. It's like 30 kilometers of depth, and no scientist, just Russian scientists were able to dig up to 12 kilometers, and they found the temperature completely different from any geophysical models. So we don't actually know what is the Earth's interior. We just know a few kilometers, and also we don't know above in the atmosphere, because we are surrounded by what they call the Van Allen belts that don't allow us to see what is beyond, or what they hide actually. So we are in a, like in a fruit. We are just in the, how do you call the
core of the fruit?
No, the core, just the
heart?
Not the heart, what we
okay.
And we don't know what is inside and what is outside. So, and what is, however, very important is that what is outside, that is the Earth's magnetosphere, what we call this space, actually depend on the core. This is absolutely recognized. The Earth's magnetosphere is created by the crystalline core.
Okay, so if I understand correct, you say that we are like in this magnetosphere, and the magnetosphere is shaped and controlled or regulated, created by this crystalline inner core.
Yes, this is what scientists say, and this is why they believe that the crystalline core is made of iron, because they think that iron is a metal and creates magnetic field.
And why is it important to know that it is different? What is the importance? You said the magnetosphere hides something from us.
Well, yes, because the magnetosphere is not just, it's made of plasma, and plasma is very, very dense, and is confined like the belt, like a belt. It might behave like a mirror. So we don't see behind the mirror. We just see what the mirrors show us, and it's not only one mirror, but the magnetosphere. If you study it carefully, you see that there are a lot of mirrors that the ancient astronomers called the crystalline spheres. Ptolemaic and not Copernican astronomer, and they all said that these crystalline spheres were like mirrors. Now astronomers, Copernican and modern contemporary astronomers, don't see through the telescopes from the Earth, but they can see if we go outside with the probe, with the special probe, and we see that they are crystal, but they are not minerals, they are liquid crystal, confined by the magnetic field.
So if we look into space, in reality, actually, we are looking into mirrors.
To many different mirrors.
And what do these mirrors show us? Ourselves and the Earth. And you told us that Venus and Mars and Mercury are in the size of the Earth.
Exactly.
So if we look in space, what do we see if we think we see Mercury?
We could see what scientifically is called a diffraction. All the planets are actually inside each other, but what we see is a dispersion of them. They seem far away from each other, like the rainbow. When we see a white light that passes through a crystals, we see the red, the blue, all the colors that are spaced as distant from each other. But actually they are part of only one light, one white light.
So we think we are looking into space and we see Venus here and Mercury there and
Jupiter
so on, but
there.
it's only a picture in the mirror, and in reality actually they are all part of where we are.
Of a geometry that is multidimensional geometry, and also Kepler tried to explain it. It's like we are not in three space dimensions and one time dimension. We are not in a space time that Einstein also has illustrated. We are in a multidimensional geometry, and what we see is a projection of these different kind of planets which are not distant. They are made of a different kind of matter, or different kind of, you say, of vibration, of frequencies, that appears to us as distant, but they are not actually distant, they are only distinct.
So it is as when I am in my bathroom and opening the mirrors and they mirror each other, I see infinity, but it's not real. My bathroom isn't infinite.
But you see infinite images of yourself.
Yeah.
Just two mirrors, you make
yes.
it, you have infinity there. So what I say that is not what we see in the sky is not reality.
It's a screen, a plasma screen.
Yes, it's a plasma multi-screen in multiple dimensions. So we see we can see also infinite Earths, Earth-like planets, but they are just images of the Earth. The images of what we humans believe the sky is. In my thesis, that is actually an old thesis, I'm translating it in contemporary discoveries. We are not seeing reality, we are seeing the mirror of our beliefs. So when you see Wikipedia that says Mars is distant so many kilometers, Venus, Jupiter is distant, we actually don't know. The sun is so distant, 150 million, sorry. We don't actually know. This is a mirror, a multiple mirrors, images that could be inside each other. The Earth, the revelation of baby sun is that the small sun inside the Earth is actually made of three spheres. I spoke about the solid one, the crystalline one, the liquid one, and there is a third sphere that is very small, is 300 kilometers, that rotates westward, whereas the crystalline core rotates eastward. This means that the real source of energy is the double motion, eastward and westward. And this makes everything rotates, the mirror too. And so what we see are actually, it's a lot of images projected on that cave that is our magnetosphere. It's like the Platonic cave. And what we see projected on the cave, is a lot of shadow, said Plato, and Giordano Bruno too. We just look at images. If we that we mistake them for bodies.
A little like, or another picture would be a kaleidoscope.
Exactly, exactly. And the crucial question that we don't answer, and nobody can answer, I'm sorry, unfortunately, is what is life? What moves all this? Because everything rotates at incredible speeds, and without making gasoline.
Yes, you say the source of all the energy is not a fool, but movement.
is motion.
Yes.
And the source is a genial kind of motion because it's double motion, so it self-fuels itself without need for outer fuels. We always say that we are with limited resources. We need to buy petrol, or we have to make nuclear plants, or also alternative energy. But the problem is not energy. The problem is to realize
that everything is plenty.
Absolutely, because the reality is not made by objects. Reality is made by different motions that nourish themselves.
So let me try to say it in my words to see if I really understood. You say what we see as distinct objects in the sky, the planets, and also the sun, is not really there, but this is a projection on multiple and multi-dimensional plasma screens, and the energy that makes all these movements and happening, and the first mover is the inner core of our Earth.
Exactly.
So we always thought, and we are taught that our energy comes from the sun, and we need the sun, and the sun is very far away, and so on, and we must learn how to use it correctly, and so on. But actually the sun is only a picture of something that is inside our Earth. So we have it all in us on every level, on the physical level and on the spiritual level.
Well, let's speak about what we know, that is material level, because the key point is what matter is. We don't know what time is, we don't know what matter is, we don't know even what space is. If we are in a hall of mirrors, space is created by the mirrors, so it's an illusion. We don't even what is time, because time, we always think of a time as an error, a terrible error, linear error that goes on towards the end, that is death or whatever. But actually, in our lives, we live many different times: conception, orgasm, hormonal secretion. They are all very short events. They last like 1 billion of seconds. And in that short event, there is a lot of information, of genetic information too. So life expresses, manifests itself through conception, for example, and through very short moments. It's a different rhythm from the one linear time on which we all depend. We depend on salaries, debt, financial crisis, works that there is no work, and so on. All depend on a time that we don't know what it actually is. Scientists measure one peculiar time, atomic time, and they have adopted it as a universal time. But this is not universal time. It's a peculiar frequency of a metal that is calcium. So we don't know what, we just made a convention, but we don't ask ourselves what time is. At the end, the crucial problem is matter. What is matter? All the researchers have shown that matter is not made of balls. They are not small balls in the sky and little balls on Earth.
Big balls in the sky.
So, quantum physics has demonstrated that there are no balls at atomic level, but they don't still admit what many scientists have said, and also many sages have said since thousands of years, that the nuclear particles with their quarks are not little small balls either.
What are they?
They are, in my view, and I repeat what many people said, they are mini black holes.
Oh.
They are mini spinning black holes. And black holes are connection, instant connection between, among different universes. This means that we are not separated from the sun, we are not separated from the Earth's core, because we are instantly connected with our emotion, with our consciousness, with the presence that we are always felt.
So this connection is holographic. It's in every particle and every cell, and on every level we are connected, and the core of the connection are tiny black holes.
Yes, every core is instantly connected. All the atomic nucleus of the universes have the same force, the same nuclear forces. So they are all connected. But the key point is, can this nuclei change? Can this nuclei transmute? Yes, they can, if both nuclear forces are considered.
You say both nuclear forces. We know about nuclear forces with the nuclear plants and so on, which are very destructive, Chernobyl and Fukushima and so on. This is one of the nuclear forces that
there
is
are
used
always
there
two.
or abused there.
People say we humans have abused them, but actually we just know how to use one of the two that are recognized. There are two nuclear forces that are called weak and strong nuclear force. They always operate together. Yet we know and we measure them both. Yet we know how to use the strong nuclear forces that repeat itself, and we know how this strong force behave. We can predict its behavior. On the contrary, we cannot predict the behavior of the weak, the so-called weak nuclear force.
Why is it called weak? Weak sounds weak.
Because the artificial instruments feel as weak, because it is 1,000 faster than the strong one. So it's if you see something very rapid that passes for an instrument, might be
too quick to measure.
Too quick to measure it. But it's possible that our cells and our macromolecules, organic molecules, are instead able to feel this very rapid force as eros, love, emotion. We are not mechanical instruments, we are not robots. And my thesis is what scientists call the weak nuclear force is actually what we feel as love.
So it's not weak, it's only immediate and rapid.
It's extremely lighter, like Cupid, like Eros, and like the orgasm. Also we experience that love is very fast, no? It lasts for a short time, while on the contrary, hate is very stable, is what dominates our our society, unfortunately. Because we all feel love, but it's not stable, it's not predictable.
It's free? Could you say it's free? If you say it's not predictable?
Predictable means that you can fall in love and you don't know, but abruptly you fall in love, maybe you marry, you make sons, after saying, oh, what was that? But this is the normal love of humans. And churches, all the religion has controlled sex, controlled the human relationship, sexual relationship mainly, and this was used by any power to control people, to make them unhappy, to control their sexual activities, and to let them believe, let us believe, that the only force is stability. The strong nuclear force is stable. It repeats itself always at the same. Science is all based on repetition. What is repeated is true. What is not repeated is not true. So we can repeat the universe, we can repeat our life. No, it's always different.
So when scientists now start to focus on the importance of the weak nuclear force, they are detecting love, so to speak, as an important factor in our world.
The problem for science is that they cannot predict its behavior, and therefore they look for something that higher than the weak, because the weak nuclear force is only the one which links different kinds of matter. This is absolutely proved.
As love does. It links.
It links. But links very different kind of matter, so we just see one kind of matter. That is 4% of all the calculated mass. And we don't know even what moves these 4%, why we are alive, why we suffer, we think, we breathe, we speak to each other, we communicate, because we are missing the most the strongest force of nature, and we call it weak. It would change everything.
Yes, but your book is named Baby Sun Revelation, or Die Geburt der inneren Sonne, so it is changing now.
Absolutely, it is changing our mind. It's changing our way of thinking the universe, of thinking ourselves. We just see one word, and the same force can link many different words. Also show that we are not mortal, but there are different kind of matter, and that is just living this costume of the scene that is made of a peculiar kind of matter, but it is not the only one.
So everything we are taught, or most of it, is just not true.
There are a lot of mistakes, a lot of deception, because we think at matter as something stable, real, and that we have to trust. Instead, matter is the matter that we can observe is just a very small fraction of what we say we do calculate. It's just 4% of what we do calculate.
So we know there must be much more, 96% more,
Absolutely.
but we cannot perceive it with our senses, with our technical possibilities.
We can perceive it. All the sages, all the poets, all the artists have shown it.
Not with our senses and our technique, But
no.
with our heart we can perceive it.
With ourselves, essentially within our bodies, because we have the most complex brain of all the animals. We have inner potentialities to know without seeing, without words, without experiment, repeatable experiment. We can learn through experiences that are not experiment.
Mm-hmm.
This is the inner sun is, in my view, is the prime motor of whatever kind of life that manifests in what we can see, and also manifests itself in what we cannot see, but we can feel.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, many sages spoken of the earth in the sun.
The sun in the earth?
Earth, oh yes, earth, the sun in the earth,
mm-hmm.
okay, 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Without any instrument. Mm-hmm.
Any instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that Goethe also spoke of something like that.
Yes, and I remember that Rudolf Steiner said that the distances our astronomy is telling us are not accurate, and it's just calculations that have no real relevance and are wrong from wrong assumptions.
Yes, the greatest Italian poet, that is Dante Alighieri, he lives in the Middle Ages. He also spoke about the crystalline sun at the center of the earth.
And there are many painters who painted
absolutely
wonderful pictures.
Also ancient Greek spoke about the world of the dead, like that was below the earth's surface. And this is what we can also see if you use our human brain.
So does this mean that firstly we have everything inside ourselves, as our solar system is inside our Earth actually? So it doesn't make sense to search for outer solutions and to search to the outside. Instead we should go to the inside?
Well, we should be in the middle. We should realize that we are the protagonist of the inside of outside, and realize that the world is a mirror of our beliefs. If we believe that we are without resources, we made a world without resources. If we realize that we have infinite resources and use it, being the protagonist, being the rulers, not the rulers is not a good word, the
impulse givers.
Yes, the responsible creators of our outer reality, we can make a world, one fantastic world. It's a utopia. It's full of resources, because the resources do exist inside us, inside nature, in the flowers, in the trees, in the air, in the rivers. Everything is energy.
But on the same time, your book is not only about how to be aware that there are plenty of resources in the material world, but also that the material world is not everything, and that we should be in the middle there too, with our consciousness, and know that there is a whole, a unity of everything, and that what we see is not the complete picture.
No, as I said before, we just see 4%. This is matter, but the key point I want to stress that this kind of matter is crucial for us to go beyond. and to change matter. Because obviously there are other kinds of matter. And now we have found, the laboratory physics has found a lot of particles, and also physics has found how they are organized. This kind of particle, it found like 24 particles, 12 particles and 12 antiparticles that are all linked to the weak force that actually is electroweak force. This is what they call the standard model of physics. Of 24 particles, we just see 4. And we believe that only these 4 are organized.
Name them, please. Which 4 do we see?
The 4 are the quark, 2 quarks, the electron, and the neutrino, electron-neutrino.
Mm-hmm.
Yet there are 24.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we believe that only 4 particles are organized in mineral, plants, animals, humans, and so on? All the rest is not organized. Because we don't want to realize that they might be organized with different rate of time.
Mm-hmm.
They might compose similar worlds with a different kind of matter and also a different kind of time, a different rate of time.
And via the black holes inside every nucleus of
the
us,
black holes,
we have connections to all these
absolutely
realities.
So, yet, what we call normal matter, the 4 particles we mentioned, can be transmuted.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the crucial messages of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has spoken about the resurrection of the body. He didn't speak about the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke about the resurrection of the human body.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said we are like the salt.
You say the resurrection is a transmutation process.
Is a physical transmutation of the matter that composes our human body.
And you say we are all able to do this?
No.
Not yet? Or?
No, are able who want to do this. All the people who want to do it can do it.
This is what I asked, yeah.
Yes. And can do now easier than in the past, because this transmutation is what is occurring in all the earth, in all the universe, is changing the matter that composes it. It's a cold nuclear fusion.
So this is the ascension everyone is talking about, 2012 and all this stuff. The truth in it is, it's the transmutation process. The whole universe is going now, including Earth, or Earth is the whole universe after this new physics, and we are free to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
Or to say, no, I don't want to transmute. I want to stay, to keep my density.
We are free to choose.
Okay.
We are free to choose, but everything is changes, and we can participate in this change.
And I want, I want to choose. What should I do?
To be yourself. Just be yourself. And we have a great plan. Humanity is a great plan. That is happiness, joy, transparency, utopia, a well-being, a prosperous, just world. So, animals can feed themselves without banks, without gasoline, without anything. We are a little bit higher than animals, with respect to them, of course. Why we have not succeeded in making a prosperous society, because we believe in division. And division is what the strong nuclear force makes appear. It's not true, but the atoms have nucleus very, very small, divided from the other nucleus. And we don't realize that all the nucleus are united by the same forces. So we are in the middle between two apparently opposite force. One is expansion and the other one is division. But what takes the reins of the two forces is each of us. So each of us, we can transmute our matter, just deciding what we believe is most important for us. If it is love, that is expansion, or is division, that is fear, division, and look at our counts, our bank interest, and so on.
Loneliness and so on. So our work, if we want to go with the ascension or transmutation, our work is to free ourselves step by step from all these misconceptions we have in our brains.
Yes.
And in our everyday life.
It's mainly what is now makes more and more evident is the expansion. The universe is accelerating its expansion. The earth is expanding too. Our consciousness is expanding. Expansion means to overcome the borders, overcome the limits, realize that limits don't actually exist. We have no limits. We have a brain incredibly extraordinary that we don't use at a conscious level. The famous fall is in the unconscious.
Yes.
So we don't know, we are not aware that energy limits don't exist. We believe in limits, and so we struggle.
So if we want to join into this universal transmutation process, we have to let go of these old convictions.
Old conviction mainly experience the force that is expansion. And let's say that we cannot be happy, each one of us, if all are happy.
Yes.
We can be happy if all the humanity is happy. All the humanity is prosperous, has its own means, and we don't have armies, we don't have weapons to bombard other people, and we realize that we are one world.
And what we see as differences is only in the mirror, and in the center are we, and we are one.
Absolutely.
So
we are not only one word, we are one word linked to infinite
yes.
other words. So what we can decide, if we want to participate in this transformation, in which we can realize that we are in many different worlds already. There is no division between terrestrial and extraterrestrial. There is no meaning.
Because we have the black holes inside every nucleus of us.
Absolutely, we are all connected.
So we are really free to do this now?
Yes, because the sun, the inner sun, the central sun is manifesting itself. And is manifesting in infinite ways. In the book, I mention all the experimental facts that are showing that the Earth in Einstein is manifesting itself. And the key point in which it's manifesting is challenging the physical laws that we have believe not mutable, immutable. It is challenging gravity. So it's there are many evidences, long to explain which, but we can do if you like. Many evidence that gravity is not a universal force.
I think this is too much for now, and this will not be the last interview we will have, but our time is running out now, and I think gravity will have its own space and time. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Giuliana, and it's so incredible to see that transmutation now becomes scientifically understandable and just a fact, if we decide to do so.
Thank you to you.
Thank you. Vielen Dank und bis zum nächsten Mal.